Is this going to give
You're
me...
here.
We're here? Hello! I didn't know it was live yet, but hey, that's only the first blender you're going to see today. Now that I'm live, you'll be able to see all of them. I'm Debbie. Welcome to my classroom. We're going to give everybody just a minute to get here, get signed in, and get their supplies ready. You're going to want a few things when we get started here. You're going to want, if you have them available, a couple of sheets of cardstock, some decorative papers that you can personalize your project. You're going to want 2 feet of ribbon. You're going to want some glue. You're going to want a trimmer if you have one, a ruler, some scissors. So if you have all those ready, you will be ready to work with us. And if you're out there, give me a shout out and let me know you're here. I know Katie's here. I saw Katie's comment. Oh, look, there's Lisa. Hi, Lisa. And welcome, Sandy. Hi, Betty. Oh, it's so exciting. I'm so excited to see you there. Okay, you guys have your supplies ready to go? Now you're going to see me keep looking back that way, and that's because my dear hubby, and Margie, who are both spectacularly wonderful people, set me up with my big screen TV right across the desk from me here so I could see your comments myself. So that's pretty cool. When they look, Margie, are we set to be able to look straight in at what we're doing here?
Be able to.
Okay. So say hi. This is Margie. Hi, Margie.
Hi.
And Bryce is over there. Say hi, Bryce.
Hello, everyone.
Yay, yay. Hi, Francine. Welcome, everybody. Oh, this is so exciting. So exciting. Thank you, you guys. Hi, April. Welcome. Sandy, I miss your wonderful room and craft nights, too. I'll be glad when we get through this social distancing thing and we can get back together. Sandy's one of our crafty friends who meets here in the warehouse every Friday night. Normally, we're canceled indefinitely now, but
no Zoom.
We have a great time crafting and playing and laughing together. So I miss that too.
Lower it.
Oh, Teddy! Yeah, where's Teddy? I promised Katie that Teddy would be in here sometime during this. Is he here?
He's by your.
Come here, Teddy. Come here, Teddy. Look, I have a toy. Come here. Come here. There he is. Come here. Oh, he's going to be a codger. Come here. He's a puppy, so whatever you want, that's what he doesn't do. Come in. Come in. Come here. Yeah, there he is. Oh, don't be a pill. Come here. Come here. I don't even have his harness on him to snag him. Come here. Maybe you can grab him, honey.
It's just sitting again.
Okay. Hey, Pam. Welcome. Is that Pam Reed? I hope it's Pam Reed, but I don't know. Who? Pam, tell me who you are. Welcome. Welcome to my classroom, guys. It's a little messy. We've been tearing things apart and getting everything ready to do our class kits. About a third of our class kits went out last night after we made the announcement that they were available. So if you want to have class kits available for the upcoming classes, be sure that you grab... Hello, Pam Martin. Welcome. Francine is having trouble seeing the video.
We had a malfunction.
Oh, we had a little malfunction. Can you see it now, Francine? Is everything good? Can you see it, Francine? I know there's a little delay in your being able to answer me, so we'll work around that. I think that since we know that we have a lot of you now online and watching. Hello, Betty. Okay, I don't mind that you're working on another project, listening and watching. That's cool. I'm just glad you're out there. Since we have quite a few of you here, let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to work with white cardstock today. Can everybody see? Okay, you got a good view of what we're working on?
As close as we can get.
Okay, all right. I'm going to work with white cardstock today. I happen to be using adorable scorable cardstock in 300 GSM weight. Yes, Pam, there wasn't a kit for this one. This one is, oh look, Maria from Sydney just joined us. This one is just using supplies from home, but the work-along craft kits will be available for classes starting next Saturday. We're going to be here every Saturday for a while. Hello, Teresa Gillespie. Oops, how it is. There's Teddy. Bryce snagged him. He was running around my feet and refusing to go on camera, but Ted, hey, can you say hi to everybody? Hi, yes, I love you too. So there's Teddy. Okay, so we are going to also post this video to YouTube when we're done, guys, so that if you don't have a chance to work on it right now, Betty and others, you can get your cardstock and stuff out later, and you can go ahead and do the project later if you want to. So anyway, I'm using 300 GSM cardstock from Hunky Dory. You don't have to use Hunky Dory brand. I do recommend that for the covers of this project, you use something nice and heavy. And again, mine's 300 GSM just so that I can have it be nice and sturdy. And again, this is where we're going. So what we're going to be constructing right now, guys. Hi, Katie Bennett. We are going to be creating this background cover piece. Okay, I did get my Luden's cough drops since my last video. And we're going to be constructing this album with the pockets for your different Get Well products. We have our tea on the front. I have Luden's cough drops box in this little panel up here. I've got a package of tissues. Mine is a pretty thick tissue. You can alter the size of this box, of course, depending on the size of the tissue packet. And I meant to order Lipton cup of soups. I got Lipton Soup Secrets, which these are like the 3-cup packages, so you can even use the great big ones in here if you want to. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started.
We have a visit from Katie in the UK.
Hi, Katie.
She thinks Teddy's pretty cute.
Oh, thank you. I think so too. Okay. I made myself a little cheat sheet for how to lay out these papers as we go. If you're using European measures, this piece of paper will be 11 3/4 by 8 1/4. If you're using 8.5 by 11 cardstock, you might have to vary the measures just a tad, but you'll be okay too. Okay, so I'm going to start by cutting my base piece. And I want this piece to be the full length of my adorable scorable by 7 inches wide. So I'm going to start with that. And I have my big old piece of cardstock here. And my first scoring job on my cardstock is going to be to take this 11 3/4 by 7-inch piece of paper, and I'm going to score it at 5 inches in from the end. Now I'm using an extra fancy schmancy scoring tool here. You can tell I have my trusty We Are Memory Keepers magnetic board and my ruler. I actually really like this thing, guys. It's really fun. It holds the paper so steady. I had a trimmer scoring tool that I could have used, but I thought since a lot of you might not have that actual scoring blade for your trimmers, that it would be probably more representative if I would just score it. And I'm actually scoring with a pen. So if I would just score it as we work here, and that way I won't be working ahead of you if you don't have the same tools. Hi Nona, welcome. Thank you for joining us. Hey Corey Miller and Laura, they're both there. Hey, welcome guys. Okay, so I just cut an 11 3/4 by 7-inch piece of cardstock. I'm scoring that at 5 inches. Then I'm going to come back from the other side and I'm going to score it from 5 inches on that side also. And this is going to form the basics of our cover. Hi Alice, welcome. Nathalia, welcome. Nice to see you guys. Welcome to my classroom. You know, we've been wanting to do this since the earth was cooling, and it just took having to be separated from all my friends to actually make it happen.
Where am I scoring if I'm using 7 by 11?
If you're using 8.5 by 11, you can make your cover just a little bit less wide. I would say, Sandy, that you want to score at, let's make it, everything's going to be just a tad narrower, Sandy, so you're going to, maybe you want to score at 4 3/4 on either side for this template piece. And then after you try one, you may want to alter your measures just a little. But for an 8.5 by 11, let's go just a little bit narrower on each of the score lines on the sides. And then this panel is going to be just a little bit narrower. So we're going to kind of slide 1/4 of an inch out of everything. I hope that makes sense. Hello, Helen. Good to see you there. Okay. So I'm going to fold on my score lines. And I want this thing to line up really nicely, so if my score lines are off at all, I'm just going to correct that in the way I fold. And I'm doing this with the black pen rather than a scoring tool, because I want you guys to be able to see what I'm doing, so you wouldn't necessarily need to use a pen, of course. Okay, there's the basics of my book. It looks like my cover is going to be nice and straight, so we're pretty good there. Is this nice and clear, guys? Are you getting a nice clear shot? Oh, good, Francine. I'm glad you got in okay. All right. Next, we're going to cut another piece of paper. Let's take our other piece of adorable scoreable or comparable cardstock, and we're going to cut a 5 by 7 piece. So let's cut that 5 by 7 next. Okay, good. Thank you, Katie, for the feedback on being able to see everything okay. And what I'm going to do with this 5 by 7 is I'm going to create my pocket for this side. And what I want to do with this is I am going to score this at the top. Let's see, I'm going to score this at the top and on both sides. So I want a 5/8, actually, excuse me, I want a 3/8 inch score first. I'm going to find my 3/8 inch. Forgive me if I stick my head in the picture every once in a while, guys. Okay. I'm going to score this at 3/8 inch. And then I'm going to score it again at 5/8 inch. Well, guess what? If you add 3/8 and 5/8, that's going to be at the 1 inch mark right there. So I'm going to score it again at 5/8. That's going to create the bottom of my box. Now I'm going to go in and I'm going to score it on both sides by the same measures. I'm going to do a 3/8 inch line. Sorry if I'm slow doing it this way, guys, but I do want to give you guys the opportunity to work with me if you're wanting to do that. And I'm going to come into 1 inch now. Get my 5/8 inch line in there. Okay, so I'm coming in from the side 1 inch this time. I tell you, this little magnetic ruler is wonderful for holding this piece of paper in place. When Katie asked about them after I talked about these the last time, I did not have them in stock. I now have them in stock. Saying it right. You are such a charming lady. I have a couple just fabulous customers from Hawaii who always send wonderful notes and messages on their orders, and we enjoy you so much. And I want to tell you how much you make our day when you send all those little notes on your order. It just makes me happy. So thank you for doing that. I see them all too, because even though I may not personally pull all your orders, I see all the orders as they come through, and it's always nice to hear from you guys. And Katie Bennett says, hello everybody in chat. I hope you're well. She's from the UK in Manchester. And I love that you're out there, Katie Bennett. Thank you for joining us. And I'm hoping by now Helen got in. Hello, Miss Helen. I sure miss you. Helen's another one of our crafty friends that we see on most Friday nights. And, it makes me sad not to see you right now, but at least I can see you this way. Okay, I've got my score lines in. Messy looking, but I'm going to use the other side so it doesn't matter. Now, just to take some bulk out, guys, I'm going to clip this corner out right here. I'm going to clip a 1 by 1 inch corner right along these score lines. I'm going to take that out. I'm going to take that out so that when I score, I can get an open box. And I just realized I did this wrong. Actually, it's okay. I could use it this way, but I'll show you what I did wrong. And maybe I'll just use it this way. I told you there's going to be flub ups, guys. If you weren't here watching me, I would just say, "Oh, back that up. I got to recut this cardstock and go the other direction." What I did is I messed up my measures, and I should have had you scoring on these two edges in the bottom, but it doesn't matter. Well, it does matter. I will show you what I did wrong, though. I just made my box to hold my soup packet this way, but what I wanted to make was my box going the other way, so it should have been going this way. Oops, let's try it again. I told you you're gonna see flub ups, guys. Let me try that again.
Pam says that the mess ups are what make it fun.
Thank you, Pam. You are generous and gracious, my friend. As are most crafters, in my opinion, really. Don't you guys think so? Don't you think crafters are some of the nicest people in the world? I do. That's what I love about my job. I also love playing with all the craft supplies, I gotta be honest. But I also truly, truly love the people that I've had the opportunity to meet doing this job. Thank you, Teresa Gillespie. Again, I appreciate your patience with my with my silliness. Sometimes it's only the first error of what will likely be many, but.
So you're doing both sides landscape-wise at a 3/8 and a 5/8.
Yes. So 5/8 or 3/8 and then 1 inch. You know, 3/8 and then add another 5/8. Sorry. Oops. You can tell where we're going though, can't you? You know exactly where we're going with this. Deborah. Sometimes I amuse myself. Sorry, guys. I can be so silly sometimes.
And so then you turn it in and do it
Long ways.
the very long
Yes.
part.
We're only going to have one lengthwise set of scores here, guys. I'll double check that before our next pocket, okay? Oh, Deborah. I used to work at a bank way back when, years before I started this business. I've been doing this since 2002, so it was a long time ago. But after I left the bank, people told me that what they missed was my roaring laugh, because they could they could hear it from halfway across the bank. And they missed my laugh. I thought that was a nice compliment. If some people are going to miss something about you, your laughter's a pretty good thing to miss. Okay, guys, this is better now. We're going to have a pocket that will actually fit inside our book. I'm clipping those corners out again. So let's clip those corners out. All right. There we go. Okay, now let's fold our pocket up the right direction so our soup packet will actually fit in there. Goodness sakes. I'm glad I cut some extra cardstock here. I had some out here just in case I needed it. Yes, it does, Pam. Laughing absolutely soothes the soul. And we can all use a little of that these days, can't we? We need to find every excuse we can to laugh. I've seen some of the funniest, just funniest videos and cartoons come out about all this staying at home and toilet paper shortages and things. Lisa sent me a really hysterical little cartoon, or it was a picture actually, where somebody had crocheted toilet paper and rolled it up on a toilet paper roll. That was really funny. And Melody sent me one yesterday that said, this is a little crude, but I'll say it anyway because it was really funny. She sent me one that said that she used so much hand sanitizer and so much soap that when she pees, she cleans her toilet. I thought that was really funny. Oh, good, I said it right. Thank you. Thank you, thank you.
Debbie,
So,
we've
yeah.
got quite a bit of a lag, and so we're going to go to a black screen for just a minute. And so if
Okay.
you want to go ahead and chat for a little bit, we'll fix it and we'll be right back.
Who would have thought of TP for Christmas? That's hysterical, Katie. Hope everybody heard we're going black for a second. While we're waiting for the screen to come back here, well, maybe I'll wait a second. Maybe I'll wait a second because I want to show you how to get these all out of here.
Okay, we're good.
Okay, you're back? All right, excellent. Now, we already, assuming we had already cut off the 5x7, I'm going to set this one aside. Then you should be able to get three additional pockets from this single sheet of cardstock. I want you to turn this, what you have left, lengthwise, and I want you to cut this 4 inches wide. Okay, I want you to cut this 4 inches wide, and I want you to cut this 4.5 inches long. And that's going to be one of our pockets. I want you to cut a 4x4. And I want you to cut a 4x2 3/4. So we have 3 more pieces cut and ready to go. Okay, take your 4 by 4.5, and let's make those same score lines, except we're only going to make them on the long edges. This is for our tissue pack. So take the cardstock lengthwise and score those again at 3/8 and again at 1 inch. Come into the other side. And we'll do 3/8. Now, depending on the size of your box of tissue or pack of tissue, these tissue packets I got are pretty thick. A lot of them are a lot smaller, so you can alter the size of this so that it will wrap around the top of your tissue pack. You may want to alter your dimensions a little bit just based on what size tissue you get. Let's do our 3/8. that so steady? Okay. Come on. All right. There's my 3/8. And my 1 inch. And I'll fold these, put my ink marks to the inside. They easily score or fold right on my pencil lines. And I'll put these to the inside, and I'm creating just a little holder for my tissue here, so that I can put my tissue packet up underneath. Now again, that's going to be a really tight fit with these, but I tried to give you the measurements for a more typical pack. Most of the ones I have had in the past are much smaller. If you need to make this a little wider, you can. If you need to make it you probably won't need to make it a little narrower, but you might not have to make it quite as tall as we did if your tissue packet is smaller. We're going to take another piece of our cardstock here, and the 4x4 piece, and we're going to score that at 3/8 and 1 inch. Okay, 3/8 and then add another 5 to it. So 3/8 and 5/8. Oh, you guys are talking about where to find TP. That's good. Any hints you can give each other are really good. You know, one of the things I heard, and I looked online and I found it was true, if you're really having trouble finding TP, think about buying one of those big commercial rolls. I'm still seeing those on the Amazon. I'm still seeing them on the eBay. So it might not be the most friendly TP in the world, but you know, if you have none, any of it's pretty good. Think about looking for those commercial rolls too. Although, if you look in the middle of the night on Safeway, I saw some on Safeway in the middle of the night. We already had ours, but why is it I felt like I needed to send up a flare or something to say there's TP available. Don't flush those white napkins though. I see you, Katie, recommending the big packs of white napkins. That's great, but don't flush them. That's a landlord speaking. I'm going to fold this again and put my my ink marks to the inside. Here's my Luden's cough drop holder. And my Luden should fit very nicely in there. There we go, see there? So I can get my Ludens in there. This could go a little bit wider if you wanted it to, but that's the basics. So we've got our basic pockets for the inside done. We're going to make another pocket for the outside, and this one we're just going to do really simply because you don't need to allow for a lot of volume for our tea bag to go in. We're going to take this let's see, I have a 4 by 2 3/4, and I'm just going to put a 1/2 inch score on 3 sides.
So what size is this square again?
This is 4 by 2 3/4 wide.
Okay.
And I'm just going to put a 1/2 inch score on 3 sides of this. As soon as I line it up correctly. There we go. Yeah, this would be way easier with a scoring tool, but it keeps me pacing, I think, a little better if you're working along. Hello, Jordan. My daughter Jordan just joined us. I see her signing in. It's nice to have you with me, daughter. this little board that I'm using, the We Are Memory Keepers board. They sell for $10.99, and it is just the neatest little thing. I'm telling you, it doesn't take up any room to speak of. Okay, I've got my 1/2 inch scores on 3 sides. Let's clip out the extra here, guys. Clip those little corners out again. I love you too, Jordan. Jordan moved this summer to Connecticut, so I don't get to see her as much as I like to, but she's doing well. Her hubby's in the military and serving our country, and that makes me very proud of them both. So we have to all make our sacrifices to keep us safe, don't we? And I am proud of both of my kids and my son-in-law. They are good kids. Lauren's still here at home with us. She's going to college here locally. Now, you got a decision to make, guys. If you want to, in this one, I just put my paper on top. See that? But I could have, if I'd chosen to, I could have put my decorative paper down and then glued to it. And I think that's a little easier way to do it than filling in all of these spaces. So I think that's what we're going to do. Let's cut a couple pieces of our decorative paper. You can use anything you've got. I happen to be using, let me properly credit it here. I happen to be using a pad called Chateau. Margie and I went shopping after Christmas, and what did we pay for these, Margie, at Michael's? About a little over $3. Yeah,
$3.73.
$3.73 a piece for these packs of paper. This one was beautiful, and I'm having a good time using it. I love it when you buy your supplies from me, guys. I have to admit it. It makes me very happy. But if you have a chance to buy a $19.99 pack of paper for $3 and some odd cents, you should do it. You should just do it. It's okay. I promise I won't be offended.
This pad is still out there, but it's very, very low in stock. So if you're trying to look for it at Michael's, you may not find it.
Okay, guys, I did it again. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm trying to cut a piece of paper that's 6 3/4 by 6 3/4. I think I just cut it to 5 3/4. 6 3/4 by 4 3/4. Let me see if I can do this now. Oh, Jordan, you tuned in just in time to see your mom make her second big blender. There we go. That's what I'm looking for.
So
I
what's
wanted
that?
to cover
What's
my
the
panel.
size again?
6 3/4 by 4 3/4 for that panel. And now I need to do the same thing for the other side. Assuming I have a 6. Oh, I do. I still have a 6 3/4 here. I'm glad I got extra decorative paper out too, and I'm glad it was cheap, so I don't have to be mad at myself. Okay, so we're going to add our inserts. Now, I did everything here with glue. I know that I'm a big advocate of tape. I did find that when you're putting heavy things into this little binder, that glue was something of an advantage. So that's my opinion. You can try your tape if you want to. If you use tape, I'd recommend that you use red liner or some kind of super tape that's really, really super hold, because you're holding heavy things. I mean, that Luden's cough drops box doesn't feel like much, but when it's being held by paper, it's good if it has, a really good grip. And you're not going to have yours scored with a big black line, but you can see how nice that is by just using white paper for my background and cutting my decorative paper just slightly smaller. I'm going to have a really nice white mat around my papers as I put them in. And I just remembered there's something else I wanted to do while we were doing this step. So I'm going to get my ribbon. I chose this ribbon. It's just some that I had in the drawer, but it's pretty with this paper. And you want to cut about 1 foot of ribbon for each side. And let's go ahead and put our ties in while we're going here. So I'm going to lift this one just a little bit. I'm going to put my tie at about midpoint. Now I'm going to put my pockets over this, guys. So my pockets are going to help secure this ribbon down too. And I'm going to put my other ribbon roughly midpoint. I think I'll lift it and go in.
Question on what glue you're using?
Right this second, I'm using tattered lace glue. My favorite glues, as you know, are the Cosmic Shimmer glue that we saw in the store. It's absolutely wonderful. It's a PVA glue. It dries clear and it dries flexible, so it's got just spectacular hold. And I have that in my little bottle here. I have some tattered lace glue that I'm still using up. These just needed to be used, so I've been pulling them out and using them because we rotate our stock on the shelves all the time, and I want to make sure you always get a nice fresh bottle of glue when you get one from us.
In fact, we have a middle size of the Cosmic Shimmer right now. It's a 60 milliliter, and it fits right in between that smaller bottle and the bigger bottle.
Right.
And currently, that's all that we have in stock. So if you're looking under for the big bottle or the little bottle, try typing in Cosmic Shimmer at the 60 ml.
Yeah, ml, 60 ml, milliliters. And that's a really, really good comment, Margie, because what happens with the Cosmic Shimmer is that because it's a water-based product during the winter, they don't ship it to us. We still ship during the winter, and then we just take the risk. But our manufacturers and distributors don't want to ship it because there's a risk of it freezing and they don't want to have to replace our product. When we ship it to you, we wrap the heck out of it in bubble wrap to try and kind of insulate it so you can get it all winter from us. But because they don't send us new supplies, it took us until now to get some more of that in, and the 60 milliliter bottles was what we could get. I put glue, generous, you can see that it's a really generous amount of glue on all 3 sides. I'm just going to kind of stick this together to form a little box bottom. Okay, I'm going to hold it here for just a second because I don't want it sliding out on me when I put it down. That's one reason I put so much glue on. And it's holding what in my case is a pretty heavy soup packet. I think I told you in my preview that the idea for this Get Well project actually came from one of the videos out on the Stampin' Up website. They have some really great ideas out there. And I saw a little Get Well kit out there, and I thought, oh, that would be really fun. Then I started making it and thought, nah, I want to do it all differently. So Katie asked said in Cosmic Shimmer has a lower water base, so it's less likely to warp the paper. Yes, it still will, Katie, it still will warp lightweight paper. So if you're using lightweight paper, I recommend using the Easy Tear tape or the finger lift tape that we use for so many of our projects. But if you're going for a heavier application and on heavier paper, excuse me, I recommend that you, for lighter weight paper, go with the tape. For heavier weight paper, the glue is just fine. And this isn't warping my cardstock at all. See that? This is just very lightweight cardstock in this Chateau paper pack from Michaels. And yet it's not warping my paper at all. Now you've just seen that I have a comment asking how wide is the ribbon. The ribbon I'm using is a 1/2 inch. You could really use almost anything. On my last one, I think I used a 3/4. You could even use a 1 inch. So anywhere from a 1/2 inch to a 1 inch ribbon is good. And I have a question about what is the name of this board, and I think it's just.
I typed it up already.
Oh,
I
okay.
gave you the information.
Oh, okay. You put it in. Oh,
Yep.
There we go.
It
Thank
says
you,
that
Margie.
you're welcome.
We
It
are memory
says that
keepers,
it's currently
magnetic man.
out of stock. But I
No,
know
there's
we've
another
got
one.
more.
There's 2
Okay.
listings in there. There's a listing that was one that I did for Katie, where I sold her one of my used ones out of the classroom, or an unpackaged one out of the classroom, because we ran out. And then there's a new listing out there. I believe they're $10.99 or $11.99.
They are $10.99.
$10.99. And so if you look at that Memory Keepers, try magnetic, and that should pull it up.
I gave the entire thing.
Oh, okay, good.
And it says that we are currently out of stock.
Really? Those new ones, the $10.99 one? Oh, you know what? I know we have more, guys.
I know you do too. It's coming.
We'll update that. I put that listing in when I realized that we had some down there, and I think I only put one in the listing when I created it. There are more. Okay, I'm taking a piece of my scrap paper, and I'm cutting that scrap paper to fit this channel in between, because even though I put those black lines there to just guide, it bugs me to have that just boldly showing there. So I'm going to cut a piece for the inside, and that inside of my binder piece is 1 3/4 inch wide, and it is 6 3/4 inch long. So I'm going to put that right here. Okay? Oh, you guys make me blush. I love you guys too. I really, really do. So many of you are just so kind and so generous with your comments on our videos. You know, that's one of the things that keeps me making those, is that it's just so fun when I know that you appreciate what we're doing. I don't mind sitting down and putting together a whole craft kit and seeing what I can get, so I can share that with you, because you guys are just so kind and generous with your comments. So thank you very much for that. Okay, let's see. We've got our first pocket in. Let's put our Luden's Cough Drops pocket in, and I'm going to put that pretty close to the top up here. And again, I'm just going to put my glue. What?
Keep it down more.
Oh. Margie says I'm getting out of camera range.
When you lift them up, it's too high. So keep your box down lower. When you're trying to show something. There you go.
Okay, thank you. My camera angle's a little different than what I'm used to, so I'm going to go ahead and glue this down. Now, if I wanted to make sure that my Luden's Cough Drops would fit well, I could actually put those in there as I'm gluing it down, and then I know that it's going to fit. I know a lot of you aren't going to have your supplies yet, but since I have mine sitting right here, I'm going to glue it with it right in there. Alice says, it's a great way to spend a Saturday evening. I'm on the East Coast. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying it. Alice, we love having you out there. And boy, we have a lot of customers on the East Coast.
We tried to make the easiest decision to fit in everybody's timeline.
We sure did. We had a big old long discussion about just what time we were going to do things and what day of the week. We know that there's quite a few of you that even with the social distancing thing still are working at essential tasks out there, and you're still leaving the home, still leaving home during the week. By the way, thank you for that. We know that you're taking some risks in the public interest, and God bless you for that, honestly. I am very grateful for everything that people are doing, especially those in the medical profession. My heart bleeds every time I watch TV and find out what our medical workers are going through. You know, guys, this will fit a standard tissue, but I'm actually going to make this just a little bit wider, I think, because I did not allow for my great big oversized tissue pack here, and I'm going to make that just a little bit wider. So I'm going to cut myself one more here, and I'm going to go clear out to 5 with that by 4.5, I think. And I'm going to remake this one just real quickly here, so I have a little bit more room for this oversized tissue pack. Again, most of the ones you're going to get are not going to be these Mundo ones like I bought.
And what size is that you recut?
I just recut this to a 5 wide by 4.5. And my original one, this was the piece of paper that was 4 by 5.5. So I just wanted to cut an extra 1/2 inch on each side, just to allow myself a little bit of extra room. And I'm going to put it in this way. So I'm going to quickly mark this off. It'll only take me a second here since I'm redoing something we've already done. But it's only going to work if I can line up that cardstock. I'm telling you, that is one really, really sticky magnet. I love that though, don't you? I don't like to use magnetic tools that don't have a strong magnet to them. This one has a very strong magnet to it. So I hope you guys are all feeling well out there. It's a weird time we're living in right now. I hope everybody's healthy and happy, and it's kind of hard to stay home, but it's a small sacrifice to make in the greater interest, isn't it? I compare the sacrifice of staying home to what some of you, and I'm going to say some of you because I think we have some medical professionals and others in our group that have to be out
Katie
during
is
the
an
week.
RN OB nurse, and she says that she's currently sewing face masks. And I know that
Oh, bless your heart, Katie.
I know that Joann's is currently handing out, so long as they don't run out of plastic, they're handing them out. You can literally drive up and pick one up and don't even have to go into the store. And they will make sure that you get one.
A pattern or fabric,
it's
or what
pattern,
is it they're
fabric,
giving?
and the elastic. It's all of it.
Wow.
Yeah.
So did you hear that, guys? You know, if you guys are up for a little drive-by errand, I know that both Joann's and Michael's are offering, you know, curbside service. I don't have the fabric and elastic to offer you, or I would, but it's nice to know that they're doing their part for the community, and especially Joann's giving away that fabric and elastic so you can help sewing the face masks. That's awesome. I know that several of you are. I know that our friend Dawn, I don't know if you're out there, Dawn, our friend Dawn here locally is a fabulous, incredible seamstress, and I know that she's sewing face masks as well. So thank you guys for doing what you can to help people. I hope that the manufacturers will get it together here soon, and that we'll have full protective equipment available for our health workers. I know around the world that's just a really big issue right now.
Also, if you are sewing them, I know that Joann's is accepting them back, and that they will make sure that they get distributed out. So you don't have to go, well, I only sewed 5 face masks and now I don't know what to do with them. If you take them and drop them back by, they'll accept them back and get them to the right place.
Thank you, Margie, for that information. That's great. Okay, I'm going to move to the front cover. I'm going to go ahead and create myself a cover for the front cover. Let's see if I can cut this right. Wouldn't that just be fun and different if I did it right for Jane? You never know, guys. I told you, it's all live.
Okay, so that front one, what is the size that you're cutting?
Well, the size I intend to cut is 4 3/4 by 6 3/4 to fit our 5 by 7 book. And look, I did it right. Howdy doody. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to glue that on my front cover. And what I liked with my decorations on these, you can see I'm using totally different paper today than I did the last time. I'll make the same project twice, but you know, I really like to step it up each time and do something a little bit different. And this time I'm still using the same, I'm still alternating my papers the way I did the first time. So I want this pretty paper on the front. I'm going to attach my little pocket, whatever I've done with it. No, that's not it. You guys ever have that problem that you lose your stuff on your craft table? Man, I lose my stuff all the time.
You just set it down and it's disappeared.
It does. The little gremlins take it. Now I blame Teddy, but Teddy's seldom on the table. I won't say Teddy's never on the table. If I'm not looking, that little imp's likely to be anywhere. He's a poodle, and man, he's a rambunctious thing. But, you know, I work and work and work, and it doesn't matter how tidy my work area is when I start. By the time I finish, I have a disaster area. Our crafty friends can tell you all about that. I start off on my end of the table on Friday nights, and pretty soon And pretty soon I have my stuff spread over my space and 2 other people's. It's ridiculous, but our crafty friends are pretty patient with me all in all, aren't you guys? Alice, I like that. You lose your glasses and find them on top of your head. Bless your heart. Done that. Been there, done that.
Betty said that she's making cards for her mom's retirement center, and they're on lockdown so that they can pass the cards back and forth between the residents.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful, Betty. I love that. Oh, I love that. And what do you need to do to make sure that the cards are all up to snuff? Do you have to use gloves or something when you're making those, Betty, to make sure that the that everything is germ free when you're done with it? I'm just curious because I love the idea and I'd like to join with you in doing it. I just need to understand more about the conditions under which you can do it. Yeah, I love the time we spend together too, Teresa, but is it true? Is it absolutely true that I hog space? Yes, it is. Okay, yeah, neat idea, Betty. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, I put my little pocket that we made on the front. Now I'm just going to measure for my accent paper. And my accent paper, my pocket ends up being 2.5 inches wide and just about 2 1/4 inches tall. So I want it to be 2 inches tall and 2.5 inches wide. So I'm going to cut myself a little accent sheet here, 2 by 2.5.
Betty says that Mom disinfects them before she puts them out.
Oh, okay. Excellent. So she uses like a spray disinfectant or something, I'm guessing. That's great, like a Lysol spray or something that's really light and, you don't want to coat them, but just enough to kill off the germies. That's great, Betty. Thank you for sharing that. Oh, you have to mail them into her. That makes sense. Man, that's got to be hard for you not to be able to visit her in person, but again, the cost of keeping her safe. Bless your heart. Doesn't that look pretty? You just put our little accent paper there. And then let's open it up. Let's cut some accent papers for the inside here. And on the inside, I'm going to use these pretty papers on the inside. So I'm just kind of alternating. I did one on the outside with the accent papers and I'll alternate inside. And again, yours won't have the big black marks that mine have, just so I could show you my measures. But okay, so that's going to be just right. Let's see. I'm going to cut just a tiny edge off of that one. Let's get a measurement for this one. Our soup pocket is going to be, it's just a little under 5, so I'm going to cut my paper to just a little under 5 3/4, and it's 4 inches that way, so I'm going to do a little under 4 3/4 and a little under I'm going to do 3 3/4 the other way. I'm gun shy now, guys. I keep thinking, oh, what if I cut another one wrong? Well, if I cut another one wrong, I will just I'll just laugh at myself again and we'll move on, won't we? Oh boy. Left to my own devices. Okay, oh, that's pretty. I like that. Okay, and I need another little piece of accent paper for this box over here. This one's measuring in, and my revised size is going to be 3 by 4.5, so I want it to be just a little bit under that. So I'm going to go 2 3/4 by, yeah, you're going to catch me checking everything 14 times here, by 4 1/4. I don't want to do it wrong again. Okay, that looks pretty good. And was reacting to Betty's comment that Mom's 89 in 2 weeks and she's 4.5 hours from you and you won't get to see her. Doggone it. Well, when this is all over, you guys can have a very merry unbirthday party. And we'll celebrate the end of this thing, and we'll celebrate Mom's birthday, and it will be a glorious time when it's all wrapped up, won't it? Okay, one more piece here, and this little pocket made up was 4.5, so I want 4.25, and it's 2 inches wide, so I want 1 3/4. 1 3/4 by 4, and I say 4.25 by 4.25. What are some other good ideas you guys have for being able to kind of support some of the people that are housebound and you know, whether or not they're suffering from the virus, but maybe housebound and can't get out? Have you got any other great suggestions and ideas? I have been trying to check in with a lot of my crafty friends and just make sure everybody's doing okay and just trying to kind of add a positive word here and there. But anybody else got some great ideas for stuff that we can do to support one another through this?
I heard, I was listening last night on the radio, and they said for Grant County here in Oregon, that it's a whole county and there's only 7,000 residents in the entire county. And so they literally are having a phone log call to where everyone calls. This is the goal, is that everyone calls 25 people, and it means that everybody gets checked in with once a week. And
That's
so
beautiful.
they've coordinated that way. So I'm sure that there are other ways that you could coordinate a phone call list between groups that are there and around.
That's a great idea. I love that. Wouldn't it be nice to live in a county where there's only, how many you said?
7,000.
Oh my gosh. I think there's 7,000 in, you know, and I think there's 40-some thousand in Tigard. I don't think a phone tree would work here. Certainly wouldn't work in Portland. But, okay. You guys liking the way this one's turning out? In the meantime, we can have crafty, laughy fun. Yes, Katie, absolutely. We can have crafty, laughy fun. This is one of the things I wanted to do for you guys as a boredom buster and for me as a boredom buster, but also because I've been really, really wanting to do this for so long. So thank you guys for checking in. What?
Down to ordering cough drops online.
Yeah, up to and including. Well, I couldn't get them. I went to Safeway and I couldn't get cough drops there. The whole cold and flu section was empty. So I came out and I wanted Ludens specifically because I wanted that box size. And they didn't have them in singles, but I am going to make these up and distribute them. So I bought a dozen boxes on Amazon for... And I already had a supply of soup packets and tissues for our class that I didn't get to give on site. So I'm just going to make these up and give them away when I hear that somebody needs it and that somebody's down sick. Here we go, guys. How cute is that? Now, last time I put Get Well on my book, and I liked the way that turned out. I just used a die cut and then a piece of my paper and then trimmed it in the same mirror board, and I thought that was pretty. But you know me, I can't do the same thing exactly the same way. So I thought this might be fun. Thinking of you might be fun on our, you know, I'm not sure the people who are sick have a lot of choice but to be sick, so to order them to get well, it's still a nice sentiment, but I thought this would be nice. And I wanted to mention this to you. When you're using your sentiments, sometimes you just want it to be heavier, you know, but a sentiment, especially a lacy sentiment, is really hard to hold up with foam tape. So I think that a nice way to do that is to cut several layers of cardstock. And see, I turned this, I hope you can see that, I turned this little piece of mirror board into something that's almost as thick as chipboard just by layering up my cardstock and gluing them together. Now I do have to say this particular one with all these frillies and stuff was a little challenging, but I think it will look nice if that stands up a little bit there. Now mine has a little bit of white showing because as I pulled this frilly die cut out of the die, it kind of pulled out of shape just a little bit. A simpler sentiment would be easier to stack, but just cut several of them out of cardstock, stack those up and glue them together, and you can turn it into a much thicker, higher sentiment. And I told Margie, I don't think I'll use that because it's got that little bit of white in it, but that little bit of white showing behind there looks pretty good against my paper. I'm going to go ahead and glue that down now. So I was going to trade out and just use this one, but I wanted to be sure and share that tip because it's really fun to make these and make them just stand up more, and you can do that so easily. Now this looks like a good job for my Cosmic Shimmer glue.
Top. Francine had the surgery, and the next day they said non-emergency surgeries, so she just had a surgery on the 16th.
Oh my gosh, Francine, I hope you're feeling better, and we are pulling for a fast recovery for you, friend. Thank you for sharing that, and I hope that you are recovering quickly. I had an elective procedure that was scheduled. I really didn't mind. I'm over 50, so I had to go for my colonoscopy. And
I don't know that that's elective, Debbie.
Well, it sort of is. I mean, I was supposed to go in and do that in April.
You can postpone.
And I thought to myself, there's not a chance I'm going near a hospital if I don't have to. So I think they probably would have canceled it anyway, but they didn't cancel before I did. Any excuse will do. And I know I have to do the adult thing and I eventually have to go, but I had a perfect excuse, so I thought, why not use it? Oh, that's really good, Katie. Katie says she's used this process where you're stacking the die cuts and then she heat embossed them and with clear embossing powder, and that they look really snazzy. I love that idea, Katie. Thanks for sharing that. That's great. I have not tried that. I'm going to try it though, because I'll bet that's really slick looking with the embossing powder on it. Would make it shiny and beautiful. Of course, the mirror board helps a little in that regard too, but I do think that the clear embossing powder would be a really nice touch, especially if you were cutting it out of plain paper. Mm-hmm. That would be a really neat way to get a similar effect, really, almost a mirror board kind of finish to it.
And you know me, if you can put a little bit of glitter on it, so you use a heat embossed clear glitter.
Okay, so Margie's advocating for clear glitter. I like that too. That's beautiful. Okay, guys, that was a good job for my little needle nose glue bottle. Put that in here. And you guys, it was a struggle to get all my measures right, but didn't it turn out pretty? You could even, if you wanted to, you could write little sentiments on the tags. Enjoy a nice cup of healing tea. This one, I'm gonna have to put the Lipton soup directions here. I was supposed to buy cup of soup, and somehow I ended up buying Lipton Soup Secrets. This is the one that makes a whole big pan of soup, but I guess if you're down sick, you probably need more than one serving. I'm going for that. So my box is extra big. You can size this down if you buy the cup of soup ones. But I can put my soup recipes or just a sentiment here. I'm going to have to put on here, because these weren't labeled for individual sale, I'm going to have to put on here how to fix it. Got my Luden's cough drops and my tissues, and I am loving the way that looks. I hope you guys like it, and I hope yours are turning out great. Hey, if you would become a glitter yeti, if you would send me pictures of your finished projects, and we'll post them on our Facebook page to show what you guys are doing with some of your project ideas here. Do you guys like this format? Is this working out okay for you despite my silliness and my terrible measuring today? I knew I was going to do something just because I couldn't. Just because I didn't have editing abilities here.
I think that because it goes so quickly and moves quickly with those measurements, I think that it would be a good idea that we take a picture of your measurement guide and we'll add it down in comments so
That's
that
a great
people
idea.
can get all the measurements for each box.
That's a great idea. We'll do that, Margie. Anybody else got any questions, comments, or pearls of wisdom for us? We'll give you just a minute to respond. Because you guys are... Oh, Margie says it's taking 3 minutes to respond. While we're catching up here, let me just remind you that we're going to do this every Saturday. The next class... And the good news is these are all pre-cut for me, guys, so I'm not going to have a lot of cutting to mess up on next week. Next week, let me just scroll over here and get these again. Next week is we're doing our Oriental box cards. And we're doing our beautiful butterfly and flower vase box card. And we have... And we have our...
Give it just a second. I'm going to get a little bit closer so
That's
that
okay,
you can
cool.
see it. Too far over. Sorry, guys. They're really beautiful, and they pop up and then they fold down in a little square.
These will actually fit right inside the envelope, and in your kit you're even getting the envelope. So you have, that's why it's called a pop-up box card, because it just kind of pops to life when you open, when you stand it up. And so we have the really pretty geisha, and then just because it's Easter week and I wanted to add something else to the class, we added these pretty little lambs for Easter. They can be Easter or any time during the spring, actually. So if you already have your Easter cards done, we're okay. This one says enjoy this special day, and this one says especially for you. Okay. Thank you guys for your comments. We'll look through. If you have any other comments or thoughts for me, please leave them in the comments. We will be delighted to read through your comments and see if there's anything that we can do better or different for you. We want to just make this as fun as possible. Remember that those craft kits are selling out quickly, so you can still learn from the basics even if you don't get a craft kit, but about a third of our total supply of our class kits sold last night after I sent the email. So please be sure that if you want to work along with us, that you have your class kits ready to go, and we will be ready to be here for you at 3 p.m. next Saturday, and I hope to see everybody here. And thank you so much for participating, and I love all the comments and the ideas. You guys are just the best. I'm Debbie from Simply Special. We'll see you next week.